And welcome to the Plan, Position, and Prosper Your Business and Life Goals with the Position Your Goal podcast. And it's interesting because as we're on this life journey, it's important to just check in with our goals because regardless of what we do or what we say each day, we are positioning ourselves for something. And I always believe that things are working out for my favor. And so therefore, things will work out, but there's some things that I position myself in. And I don't know if you want to be honest with yourself too, that if you would have took some more time with intention and really set yourself up for your next, and also now, it would have had a different outcome. But again, it all works out, right? So this is the thing. I'm excited. I am really in it to just helping others to realize the power within them and then move boldly in your goals and your dreams, your ideas, and that. And so I am Denisha Ferguson. I am the host of the Plan, Position, and Prosper Your Business and Life Goals, which is also titled the Position Your Goal podcast. And today we're going to talk about one of the elements of positioning your goal, and that's all about mindset. And I know people are always talking about mindset. Mindset is a component of a bigger picture. But the thing about it is you are with yourself forever. And so mindset is a key part of that and will be a driver for the decisions that you make. And so when you think about, planning and positioning your goals and mindset, when you think about like just what you thought about today, right? And if you have any questions or, add any feedback, definitely add them in the chat or send us an email. But when you think about it and you're like, oh my goodness, all the thoughts that come through my head each day, I can recognize, oh, that's a thought from my parents or a belief I've had since I was a child. And I can say, oh, that's actually something I've experienced. I understand why I'm thinking about it this way because this is an experience I've had. I can also be like, no, these are thoughts that I have that I believe, right? Things that I know, right? Then you also have just like the spiritual side of you, your intuition, that you might think one way and also have a thought about a loved one or someone, a teacher, someone you've experienced that had a thought, but then you have a completely opposite thought. So there could be these conflicting thoughts that you have in your mind. And if you're bold and want to admit that, definitely add in the chat so people know that they're not alone. And I can be the, first to say it. You can have all these different conflicting thoughts. And it's really important to get to the heart of whose you are, what you believe, and what you know. And then also, is it truth or is it truth? Because we have our own truths that we can see through our perspective, but then there's also the hard truth, or just the truth that might not be what we believe, right? So it's a lot deeper than this. But my thing is working with your mindset and looking at your beliefs and seeing where it is keeping you from positioning yourself in a certain way or that goal in a certain way that can then help further you along in whatever goals, dreams, ideas, whatever it is that you are seeking. So when we think about, we have our subconscious and our conscious mind, right? And so our conscious mind is the gatekeeper. It is logic, it's processing, it's the planning, right? And then our subconscious, it's where we have our emotions, our feelings. That's where storage is. When you think about like our conscious mind being the gatekeeper, but then our subconscious mind being where it's stored. And so the subconscious mind is involuntary. So like we breathe without, doing anything and thinking about it. Like we breathe our heartbeats, our heartbeats. And it's really important, again, what we put in our mind, what we are consuming, what we do, so that we can continue to feed, because our conscious mind is trying to protect us. And in our subconscious mind, especially if we start listening to different podcasts that match our goals, if we are feeding ourselves with, information that could help serve us, then it could definitely show up in our subconscious and our conscious mind. But it just depends on how we react to it and how we move forward. So it's really important for us to look at what we're watching. So what are you consuming? What are you listening to? And thank you so much for listening to the Position Your Goal podcast, because literally I've been on a mission since I was a teenager to help more individuals, again, to move boldly in their ideas and to be a, advocate, especially for entrepreneurs, career driven, impact leaders, so that we can create more impact in the world. And then also take care of ourselves and our families, and continue to live a great, prosperous life that is already ours. Like the abundance is already ours. It's us, walking in that boldly. And so the thing about it is, again, we have to look at what we're consuming. And so if you think about just today alone, what did you watch? What did you look at? And I do have coaches and things like that over the time, even now, that say, don't watch the news, don't do this. And my thing is, I don't, rarely. I do my best to focus literally on my goals. And like I have these things where I do these radical, and I'll talk about it some, to help me do these shifts and break any limiting beliefs and things like that, that's going to support me in my now and my next. Because a lot of things, that the things I've experienced sometimes will creep up and will make me either start thinking or doubting or overthinking. And then I'm like, that is a lie. That is not true. And then I'll go right into my goals. I don't even give myself time to, sit in doubt or anything like that. And that comes a lot of times too with what you're consuming, who you're around, what you're eating, how you're taking care of yourself. Have you gotten rest? Who did you listen to today? And the list goes on. But when I hear that about not listening to the news and what you're consuming, it's important to be aware, right? And so, but again, you can look at the news, and the news will cover everything in a week, besides, maybe something else came up. But like, just like if you was to go on social media, Facebook, Instagram, you could get caught up on your news, and then if you look at it again, it's the same stuff. So my thing is checking in, being aware of what's going on, because you can use that content that you are hearing and seeing to, build and do the things that you're out here speaking about, right? So you can utilize that, but do not stay in it, because it's not good for your mental health. Like all this stuff that you hear, and I'm not even going to go into just, I haven't listened to the news at all today, but I want to say Sunday, because I was around a bunch of family and they had it on. So I heard it. But again, I'm not going to be consuming anything that is not, conducive, supportive, or helpful in my next step. Like I have so many hours, and especially once my child gets home, it's important to be able to be present with him and family members. And so when I got my own personal time, you better believe I am utilizing that to uplift, to build myself, to further my goals. And so I would encourage you to do that. If there's a podcast or an outlet that you listen to that is very positive, uplifting, and really provides great information for next level, goals, definitely. And next level is defined differently from everybody, but it's what supports you now and next, and even in the future. So definitely share that with us. I'd love to know that, so that we can connect as well. And so let's talk about some ways that you can continue to work on your mindset to set you up for success as you're positioning your goals, right? And this is a way for you to position your goals. So the first way is radical. Be radical about stuff. If it's something that you want to do, like if you can flick the switch really quick, now some things are going to be gradual, right? Because what does it say? Like it takes like 30 days or 45 days to break a habit. And I don't know. I mean, that is a personal journey that you are taking. And so you have to get really honest with yourself. But I've known people who broke habits in a couple of days, in a week, and they've stuck with it. But their mindset, there was some things like that was health related. And if they didn't change it, they got the notice that they was going to die. So therefore, they quickly changed those habits. And so that's a personal journey that you have to ask yourself. But my thing is getting radical, whatever it is, and saying, I am worth it. Now is the time, not because I said so, but because this is your life and your future self is dependent on you. Your future self is in 5 minutes. It's in 2 hours. It's tomorrow. It's a month from now. It's a year from now. And if you can realize again the power in you and acknowledge that and move boldly in that and nurture that and support that with rest and relaxation and continue to just remind yourself of that, then it will help you along that journey. So that would be one way. The second way is no fake goals. None. No, you're not doing it because a family member told you needed to do this, right? Unless there's something aligned with you, because you have loved ones that can see the gifts in you that you might not even be able to see in yourself, because you're either so used to doing them, or you don't value it enough, or don't think it's good enough. Again, you have to self-assess that. So the information that your loved ones and friends are providing you might be truly helpful. It might be where you really should be concentrating on with your gifts, your talents, your next steps. However, some of that stuff needs to go, right? So identify the main goals for you in this season, and then what you see for yourself the remainder of the year, in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now. What do you see for yourself? And then start taking those steps each day. But that requires for you to be like, no fake goals. So this is the thing. You have to say, okay, this is a goal that I have. Why do I want this goal? I want this goal because that's what somebody said to do next. Have I finished the last goal that I know I'm supposed to be doing? Then like, well, how I know I'm supposed to be doing it? Again, that's a personal journey with you, but a lot of it starts with self-assessment. It starts with getting quiet. It looks like you really asking yourself those questions and answering honestly. It looks like if you're feeling down, depressed, hopeless, but you're talented and you're just like, what's my next step? Where do I go? It's literally getting in tune with that. And, often, then what do they say? Success leaves clues. And so if you literally look back at past things you've done, celebrate that, no matter how big or how small it is, so that you can remind yourself who you are, what you've done, what you're capable of. You are an impact leader. All right. You have these amazing ideas. And whether you want to go in entrepreneurship or further your career path in another area, regardless, you have some impact to make. And also, you're already part of the legacy of you, right? So it's like, how do I continue to add to this legacy and build this legacy? And for me, I always believe that I am in whatever it is now, even if I don't see it. And that's part of my shift on how I produce radical growth, like radical change. I don't believe you have to do like, yeah, I mean, you might have a curriculum, you might be in school where you do so much stuff and it gradually, right? But if I say I want something, why can't I just start shifting it in today, right? It doesn't have to always be like these incremental steps. You could take a leap. But again, some again could say that leap is a risk, right? Is it a risk that you want to take? That's something that you got to answer. Don't let people answer questions for you, right? Allow people to give you great insight, strategy, but you have the answers inside you already. You know exactly what it is that you should be doing. You may not know the whole picture. You probably don't know how you're going to get there, but you got a couple insight, like a couple. I don't know. You might have one, you might have three, you might have 10 different things. Again, you have to identify, because again, when you start doing a bunch of things, now you're spreading yourself thin, and you can go a lot faster with these radical shifts with that radical focus. So you have to determine what that is, but you have some downloads right now that you're supposed to be doing to help you in your now, your next, and in your future seasons. It's just if you want to do it or not, right? And there are some things that I know for sure I need to do that I ignored. And I'm like, I want to do this. And yeah, most times I believe, every day I'm waking up like, Lord, I only want to do what you want me to do. I only want to go where you want me to go. I only want to speak to who you want me to speak to. I only want to, because I'm just at that point now where I'm just like over it. Right. And so that's me, and I've been able to have radical growth because of that focus. And so I have a ways to go. I have still things I want to do, new goals and things I'm achieving, and it's the same for you. So every day, just take that time to evolve. So radical growth, right? Through radical change, radical decision making. Like, you have to be like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. No fake goals. So absolutely none. So whatever's on your list and your goal that you want to do, if it's a fake goal, a goal that you really shouldn't be doing, or you really don't want to do, or this not the season because it's something else you need to be really doing, concentrate on that. Number 3 is rest. Rest, rejuvenate. Your body heals in this sleep. Your body, helps you. You can strategize, come up with ideas and things like that in your sleep. And so it's important. You can get downloads in your sleep. And so it's important to rest. You'll hear a lot of things online like hustle culture and don't sleep. And, when I was probably 16, I had made a shirt that said, it said no sleep. It had like team no sleep, or no, it was like nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream, right? And then it took me, over a decade, and I'm like, I want a dream. Send me some dreams, okay? Some strategies. And I started learning how to, in my dreams, come up with solutions and ideas because I was open to it, and I'm asking for it. I want it. I'm setting the environment for it. And that don't happen every day, but oftentimes I get that. And again, seeking you shall find, and the answers will come. And so just thinking about you being able to rest, rejuvenate, get away. And for those of you who are like, man, I can't do that this time, I'm working. What does that look like? Does it look like just going? I go fishing with my family. Sometimes I don't want to fish, but I actually get out there and enjoy just reading, just being, turn off my phone. I do take pictures though. I love taking pictures while I'm out there. Then I put it up. And my son's like, oh, Mom, I don't want to take any pictures. I just want to fish. And he got the concept, which I love. And then, taking a walk, going to exercise. Listen, you define it, you carve it out. Don't make excuses. and make sure that you're resting and rejuvenating. Number 4 is being it. With that mindset, there's gonna be, again, we talked about, you got other people's beliefs, you have your own experiences, that either will keep you from doing something, because like, oh man, I can't do that because I experienced that, or I can do that because I experienced that. You also have your own self-beliefs, your own self-talk, the spiritual side of you, the intuition side of you. Like, so you have, again, those multiple different complexities that what you hear, it really gets to the heart of, who am I? What do I do? What do I even want? And being it, again, that's part of my radical shifts that I have, is thinking about, like, okay, being it, what does that mean for me in this season on being it? And I can start listing some things right now. I'm not, because again, answer this question for yourself. What do you need to be it? And one thing could be like, oh man, I want to go to these certain places, but I need to dress better, right? Or I just want to add to my wardrobe. Well, you do not have to have a whole lot of money to look like you got money, right? To look like, the best version of yourself, to feel great in the clothes that you wear. And there's strategy for that, right? And so don't let anything hold you back, whether it's financing or limiting beliefs or what resources you have, because again, the resources are all around. There are people that want to help you. There are opportunities that are right there, that if you just walk into it, by being it, then you will be able to open and unlock some amazing things for yourself. If you operate that way, you could literally in a day have different experiences. So say for instance, you woke up, you didn't comb your hair, you just like was feeling down, and I've been here, right? Like 2 weeks ago, okay? Didn't feel like, you know what I mean? And you just was like, okay, I'm just gonna go about my day and, just go about it, right? Limited intentions. You know that the energy that you're putting off is not as welcoming. Well, there's gonna be things that you experience that day, right? It is. And then you can also be in a state where you're acting like that, and then God presents you with an opportunity, and you're like, man, I wish I would have looked better, or man, I wish I would have, just woke up and practiced, again, what my, my project or my whatever I'm doing. I wish I would have just looked over it again, my proposal or whatever, because I started stumbling on my words. Like, you could literally set yourself up for opportunity, just how you operate in the world. I remember, like, just something real simple. I went to the grocery store and I was dressed up because I had did I went on the news and was talking about one of my launches, and literally, like, I was dressed up and I'm like, okay, I need to run to the store, get some things so I don't have to do this a couple days from now, which is one of the big events. Like, when I went in there, because of the way I was dressed, people were like, oh, can I help you? And normally they are friendly anyway, right? So even if I went in there with my sweats and things like that, they would be like, they would still be helpful. All right, because this is just that type of store. But it was like next level help. Like, it was next level help just because of my appearance. And one of the people came to me and saying, oh, are you a doctor? Because there's some things that's going on over here. And it was just interesting. It was weird, but I could see that I could look like I worked with doctors. And I'm like, I could look like I would have fit in with the other doctors at my job after I actually looked at what I was wearing, which was cute. And so, and even just going outside, I had several people coming to me like, hey, do you want me to help you load this in your car? Right? Go ahead and, get your car and we'll come back. Again, this store is already helpful. However, it was just next level experience, right? Then when I went in there with my sweats and things like that on, another time later, still got greeted, still got service, still was warm and friendly, but it just wasn't as next level as that. And that's a simple example, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other places that you're going. If you operated more in that energy of being it, exuding it, then more things will come to you, and then the experiences. I see online a lot where it's like, becoming. Well, maybe I just gotta become to become. And I get it, because you should be aware of things you don't want, and habits and things you want to change about yourself. But I'm always about, how do I operate in my higher self? And so I'd rather focus on for me, and you do you, I'd rather focus on what I want. Right? I have an idea. I know I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. But I'm not going after, like, I don't want this. Oh, they're not going to do this. Oh, I'm not going to present this because they might not have the funds for it. I'm not going, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, this is what I want. This is the expectation. These are the goals, because there are no fake goals. These are the real goals, right? And I'm going to operate out of that versus the lack and the mentality of, what I don't want. I'm aware of what I don't want, but I'm just not leading with that. Because if I lead with what I want, I'm going to get what I want. Right. And then I'm going to continue to read the agreement and go through all the stuff and say, okay, well, these are on the list of what I don't want. And these are, and then you start negotiating and go from there. Right. I'm just not going to lead with what I don't want. And oftentimes, if you go up to somebody and you say, well, what do you really want out of life? Like, what are you really dreaming? Have somebody ask you and see what you say first, right? Because you may say, okay, well, I don't want this. I don't want that. No, what do you want? Let's get back to dreaming. Let's get back to, saying what we want, speaking it. There's power in what you say and also what you do, but what you say, how you be, there's power in that. And then from that, then you'll start saying, I can't do that because that's not me. Right? Well, I'm not going to do that because that's not me. Like, I don't even do that. Now, the older version of me might have did all that, but nope. And like, especially like with me, I don't want to experience certain things again. And so that is a big push for me to be like, oh, it's easy. Nope. No, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. If you have a budget for XYZ, or if this comes up, keep me in mind. Thank you for sharing. Or some things it is where you can say, okay, I understand, because that organization. You say, okay, well, these are some things that I would love to do it. However, this is my rate. This is what I do. However, here's some things that would be required, and then we can work up to, whatever it is that I'm asking for, right? So it just depends on what it is. And so think about that. Think about it. How are you being? And are you focused so much on unbecoming, or the lack, or, what you don't want, that's keeping you from moving boldly in what you do want, right? I'd rather focus on the positive. And sometimes I get on people's nerves. I know it. I can see it. And I'm like, either I am going to encourage you to move boldly in your goals, or I'm probably going to get on your nerve. I'm probably going to irritate some version of you that's playing small. That's playing small. And I also love doing this because it helps me check myself. Because as I'm talking, I'm seeing myself, right? And it's a reminder to me, because we're all on this journey called life. We're all experiencing different things, and our mind and how we view things. Just like if you was to go on Instagram right now, there's a filter that makes you look flawless, right? And it don't even look like a filter. It don't even look like a filter. Somebody did a good job with that. Then on the opposite side, you move your face over and you can say, oh, here's some blemishes, but I'm still gorgeous. I'm still beautiful, And so you could be looking at somebody like that with that perception, with a filter on. and thinking like, why are they so flawless and glowing, and they got a filter on. So what is that perspective that you're seeing your now, your next, and just whatever you're coming in contact, what is that perception that that perspective that you're seeing it in, and find ways to step outside of that, which is why having radical, like, you know what, I'm not doing this, and literally cutting it off, right? And I know it sounds easier said than done, but depending on what you want, why you want it, it will have the power to help you navigate, right? Give you the insight, leaning in on your faith, your beliefs. And so, okay, I talked about, then that walks me into the next one. So your mindset, your faith, and your belief. For me, higher power, God, like, I cannot do anything without that higher power, right? I can do, I can be, but there's other factors that's working together, right? That I cannot even control. And I don't even try to control it. It's a yielding for me, and I've had experiences with God where it's like, let's go. I'm going. And guys are like, I'm already here. What you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm coming. I'm here too, right? Navigating. And so, what are your beliefs? What are, that spirit? Like, what is bigger than you, right? Because we can position our goal all day long, all we want, and outside forces change it. But again, I believe that everything's working out for my good, right? Because I love Jesus, okay? So I believe everything's working out for my good. Now, there's some things I'm still like, what's up? Right? And that's the human side of me. Like, there's still things that I question and things that I'm like, man, but the thing about it is, my thing is to show up, shine my light, and do the things I know I'm supposed to do because I'm being a certain way. That's helping me make the decisions and navigate all the stuff that I do. And I can check in with myself, which is the next one, the checking in with yourself for your mindset. Check in with yourself to make sure that you're still aligned. You can feel and you will know when you start getting out of alignment. You will know, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be in this area, this career, this job, and it would be irresponsible to be like, oh, just quit. Oh, just stop doing it. You talked about radical shifts, radical moves. Handle your business. Okay? There's things that you need to do. Like, even for me in this state right now, there's some things that, I'm like, okay, let me handle this, and then I'll be able to work through this. But the difference is I carve in that dreaming, pitching, I call it enriching though. I'll add other things in the midst of my, handling my business and life. I'll mix in other things that then help me have those radical shifts. I don't just stay in, oh man, this is my circumstance right now. This is my circumstance, but I did just send up these pitches. I did submit this grant. I did submit this proposal. I did, operate this way, go this way, do this other podcast, or, put myself out there, because I don't have to sit in that circumstance, that situation, or anything that, is bothering me. It could bother me, and I'm going to express it and not hold it, and not, I'm not going to hold it in and allow it to eat at me. I'm going to do my best not to, but just always operate in that higher self. So we're going to recap the things to help you with your mindset. So one is, having these radical shifts where you do certain things to help yourself have, move forward in your goal, in your next step. You're going to do no fake goals. No fake goals. If you know this is not something that you're supposed to be doing, like, don't even put it on the list. Don't even do it. Don't even waste your time. You're going to rest and rejuvenate. You're going to be it. Being it requires you to take that next step. So whatever it is that you're saying you want, incorporate ways to be it, right? And you have to define what that is, right? Do you go certain places? Do you operate a certain way? And that will inform you on what you do next. And then you also have your spiritual beliefs. It's a higher power. So leaning in on that, because oftentimes we can get in these modes where we think we're not enough, we're not doing enough, we're not, our circumstances is bigger than us. And there's a bigger calling on your life. There's opportunities that you don't even see yet. And if you can stay focused, know that you're not alone, you're never alone, then whenever you're feeling that down, that when you're feeling down, depressed, for me, when I'm getting like that, I'm like, okay, you are not being grateful. And some people might say, well, how can you say I'm not being grateful? I am not being grateful. That's how I believe. That's what I believe. That helps me snap out of this ish. Okay. I'm not being grateful. I'm not looking at all the blessings around me. I'm not looking at the past experiences and what I accomplished, what I was able to do, regardless of how small or big I have assigned to it, regardless, that I woke up today, so that state of gratitude, and knowing that doubt, that disbelief is a lie. It is a lie that's literally trying to keep me stuck and not moving forward in the next. It wants me to stay in lack. It wants me to stay in discomfort. It wants me to stay in a place of doubting myself. It wants me to stay there because it knows that when I know who I am, it's on and popping. There's radical shifts. There's transformation. There's other people that are connected to this vision that's going to be able to walk boldly in their ideas and their dreams and what they say they want. Because why? Because you showed up. Now, you are not the end all be all. Okay? Okay? Because there is a bigger purpose, right? There's a bigger side of this, but you are I like to say, conduit. You're an advocate. You are a vessel. You are part of that ecosystem that's helping create this impact. And so what we say to ourselves is really important in this whole positioning your goal. And so I want to encourage you to take the time to go back over the steps, realize that you are powerful, you are amazing, and you got some great, amazing things to move boldly in. And it's important for you to take the next step for that. And if you are still feeling down, definitely go talk to somebody, definitely read, do what you need to do, because you don't, again, want to suppress those feelings. You actually want to express them. But again, don't let it be a distraction, because that whole time where you're talking about that, you could use that as fuel to still talk about it, but from a place of power versus a place of victim. And that may take some time for you, and you take that time you need. But take those steps. Take those steps. Take those steps. Take those steps. Don't give up. 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 You woke up. There's blessings all around. There's opportunities around. There's people who want to help you. There's people who are assigned to you. And they'll know it. They're assigned to you. And they may only be here for a season. So again, don't consider them source. They're, again, a vessel. You're a vessel for someone else. And so, yeah, This is Denisha Ferguson with the Position Your Goal podcast, where we talk about how to plan, position, and prosper your business and life goals. And again, it's my mission to help others move boldly in their ideas and the things that you say you want. Because guess what? We team no fake goals over here. No fake goals. Trust me, I had to ask myself all the time because I'm really creative and I'm like, oh, this new system or this new, do I need to learn it? So I need to make this part of my goal. And again, I had to check in with myself. So check in with yourself right now. If you're like, I'm at work or I'm doing something, okay, schedule it in 15 minutes, right? Schedule it when you can, because those tools that are going to help you, that you establish, are going to help you with your mindset. And it's something that is not one and done. It's pretty much all throughout the day. It's all throughout the day. But you got it. You got it. All right. So this is Denisha with the Position Your Goal podcast. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in. Please leave your comments, like, subscribe. Let me know what downloads you got from this and what topics that you want to talk about when it comes to positioning your goals. I'm excited because we're going to be launching the book for Position Your Goal. We're going to dive deep in that book and actually just be something physical that you can have and also refer to. And then we'll continue these conversations. And so again, write in the comments below. And this episode is sponsored by the Position Your Goal book. Again, that's going to be out. I'm going to start taking pre-orders for that, and we'll go from there. But again, hope this was extremely helpful on your journey today. And I just look forward to connecting on the next episode of Position Your Goal. Let's get it. Let's get it. You got it. You already got it. All right.